And both of these players already earning one of those trophies that you know they're so coveted, they're looking for throughout the entirety of the year, but which will hold the gold here at the World Championships. Will it be Gardevoir, or will it be the deck that we saw in the Masters Division taking over this Regidrago V-Star once more? It's so fast, it's so unique, and it's also pretty volatile.
Yes.
All the things we love to see on stage.
These cards are locked up until you start taking some knockouts and taking these prize cards down.
All right, one Ralt's a little unfortunate there, but 3 energies for Evan could be a little awkward. We've seen from time to time, you get those energies rolling, it can lead to some good times with the Teal Mask Ogerpon.
Yeah, that is true. This could be potentially a little bit damaging here, but at least we have one on each side there for Evan, hopefully drawing them throughout the match, taking these early knockouts. It looks like we're getting started here. Let's get some hype in the crowd for this match kicking off here in our Senior Division World Championships. We're starting off strong here. Haruku gonna be going first. Ultra Ball to discard that Drifloon nice and early on, and that Dark Energy. Monkey Dory is gonna be the active Pokemon.
Yeah, Monkey Dory, of course, with that Dark Energy, allows to move those damage counters from your side of the field to your opponents, really start to cause some disruption, save some hit points on your side. Does not really help when that Dark Energy hits the discard pile. You're not bringing it back with the Gardevoir EX.
Yeah.
It's one of those few energies, and we already saw one in the prize card, so if Monkey Dory wants to get into the mix, there's just one final Dark Energy remaining.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna have to see if that can be drawn or somehow shuffled back in if that is an option. Tatsugiri is coming down off of this Ultra Ball. How pivotal do you think Tatsugiri is in this strategy for Haruku?
Yeah, Tatsugiri is a Pokemon that we typically have only seen from the Japanese list. And
yeah.
Thank goodness we do, because you have that opportunity to find that perfect supporter card. As long as this Pokemon's in the active spot, you look at those top 6, and maybe you can attract some customers. We need to find any help here we can.
All right, let's look at these 6. We need a supporter in this hand to establish this initial turn here. We do not see anything. Of course, 2 supporters in the prize cards in that Iono as well as the Arvin for Haruku. So maybe limiting that Tatsugiri attract customers ability just a bit there. But did we get a look at the opening hand here for Haruku? Are we working with anything else to see here? Because the Dark Energy's gone, Monkey Dory's in play, but it can't use its ability without that Dark Energy. Tatsugiri not netting us anything. It's just going to be a pass.
That's not what we like to see.
Over to Evan Pavelski, and we've talked about this deck so much. It can absolutely pop off potentially, starting here with some Teal Dancing. We're getting groovy out here, Kyle. We're Teal Dancing into an additional card. Let's see what the starting hand is for Evan. Of course, going second does have access to a supporter, and that's going to be the Iono.
You saw your opponent did not have the hand, but you don't have the hand either. And it's just a play the Iono, give your opponent those free cards, and maybe you can establish that pivotal Pokemon. You need that Regidrago to start things off, and there is the Ultra Ball.
Very nice.
Might as well throw away that Kyurem while you're at it.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice selection there, that Regidrago, I'm sure. Having to come out here, but another thing we need to see are these Dragon Pokemon hitting the discard pile. This is the entire strategy of the Regidrago deck. It copies the moves of these Dragon Pokemon that are in the discard pile. So not only is it a very easy choice for a discard to this Ultra Ball, but it's also giving you those Pokemon that you need to set up as well. The Super Rod, a late game resource going down for Evan. Not the best. We would love to see another Dragon Pokemon there, but Evan is working with what he's got at this point in time. You would have loved to see the capitalization there off of that absolutely brutal starting hand for Haruku. But Evan, like you said, just has to do what he's got to do. And well, I'm excited to see what this hand now looks like. A fresh 6 cards for Haruku.
It might
on
be
the other
another
side.
fresh 6 cards, just depending on what is in the hand. Perhaps that Squawkabilly EX, a Pokemon that you could incorporate on that opening turn. Obviously, a great inclusion for the sole purpose of drawing more cards, seeing more resources, and potentially finding that setup that you're looking for. We'd love to see Regidrago V along with more Teal Mask Ogerpon to go with this basic setup, and we're not seeing it just yet.
Not just yet, but can we get there? Of course, Evan is going to take a moment here to identify all the resources that are in the deck. You see the notepad there on the side, jotting down what is in the prize cards. Every resource counts here, especially as we saw 3 energy in the prize cards for Evan as well. So making sure to keep track of all the finite resources you need to carry out these turns throughout the game.
Yeah, of course, the grass energies to continue to draw with the teal mask are so helpful, but the fire energy needed as a requirement of that attack for your V-Star Pokemon. So with only 2 remaining, yes, you have plenty of ways to search it with the Earthen Vessel, but earlier, sooner than later, please.
Yes, please, please. Yeah, there's only 3 fire energy, one of them caught up in the prize cards right now. Evan does get that Regidrago V, of course, for the turn here, which is great. We're going to see the energy switch off of that teal mask Ogerpon, moving that grass energy onto that Regidrago V, starting to build up to its attack here in the future. But we're over on the other side of the field now for the second turn here for Haruku, and we're gonna see it's going a lot nicer than the last turn did.
This is delicious.
It is delicious indeed. We're about to feed a couple of Pokemon here. 70 HP or less are the Pokemon you're targeting down with a Buddy Buddy Poffin. So those Ralts are what we're wanting to see from Haruku.
And I mean, we saw with Evan's turn there, just 2 cards in hand is sufficed with the Regidrago V on the other side. This turn's not over. Arvin helping out. Hopefully that energy is in the hand to go along with this. This could be quite a turn. See those evolutions. Curlia, come on down.
Exactly. That is what you're seeing here. Look at this. This hand was fantastic here. The Arvin searching out that technical machine as well as that Buddy Buddy Poffin, getting that Manaphy out on the bench to protect here with that Wave Veil ability against damage. On the bench, another Ralts joining us. We are establishing everything, and this is what I was talking about, everybody. It could get very dangerous once you let a Gardevoir player fully set up here, because then they're taking knockouts back to back. And not only do we have that, we also have attract some customers.
That's right. It's not working, but maybe we just gotta cook something new.
Oh, look at that, though. The Tatsugiri not only just attracting the customers or maybe not having a great business day there with the supporters, but that technical machine evolution is huge here. Going to attach that energy to be able to use it. It's going to discard at the end of the turn, but that is A-okay because we have the refinement ability now unlocked for the next turn here for Haruku from those Curlia on the bench now.
Yeah, Tatsu did its job. Found the Curlia. You have the opportunity to get aggressive with the Gardevoir next turn, but now it is all on Evan to find a response. That's a pink card, though. How risky do you get?
Ooh, we do like pink cards, but Evan seems to be going in a little bit of a pickle here.
Has the professor's research to follow this, but with the Prime Catcher, do you target down a Pokemon like that Manaphy? Do you target down a Curlia and play it a little safer?
We'll have to see. It looks like debating that strategy here, Kyle. What does he want to do with this Prime Catcher? A-Spec cards, those bright pink cards, you can only have 1 of any type in your deck here. The Prime Catcher is the A-Spec here for Evan. It allows you to gust your opponent's Pokemon into the active as well as switch your own. But just looking through the resources first here on both ends of the discard piles before Evan makes that decision.
Yeah, the discard pile doesn't tell enough of the story just yet.
Exactly.
There's not that, I don't believe we've seen the Earthen Vessel, which is typically a card that you love to see in this mix, but this is the aggressive approach. If you go after the Manaphy, maybe you can find that Canceling Cologne and go crazy with this professor's research.
We'll have to see what happens. Fresh 7 cards off of this professor's research, getting us some help here. What can we see, Kyle?
Oh, that's Earthen Vessel. There's a little more help, but Ultra Ball can go into the Regidrago V-Star. That leads into a maybe risky Legacy Star, but if it found Canceling Cologne, that is Kieran wiping out everything.
Yeah, that is so dangerous here, and these are the turns we were waiting to see if they would happen here from Evan. This could be huge potentially, but we need to put those pieces together. The Canceling Cologne, a key card. It's a 1 copy in this deck for Evan. It would allow him to shut down that Manaphy there and then wreak havoc on Haruku's board on the other side with that Kyurem that is already already in the discard pile, copied by that Regidrago V-Star.
The Trifrost, wouldn't that be a way to start things off here in your first game at the World Championships Finals here from the Seniors Division? You could knock out just about everything that Haruku is trying to establish on that side of the board, but we are a couple pieces short. Ultra Ball looking to find that Regidrago V-Star. Maybe Teal Mask Ogrepon with a Grass Energy could find a little more help too.
Maybe we'll have to see here. Not able to utilize that Pheasantipity because there's no knockout here. So that's what we're going to have to see, some Teal Mask action. Ultra Ball being used now. Going to be a discard of the boss's orders as well as that Earthen Vessel going into the discard. All of these resources being accounted for here by Evan.
Giddy up.
We need to get these evolutions out. We have the Regidrago V-Star now. That is one more piece of the puzzle, and that Legacy Star ability is huge here, Kyle.
Yep, this is a big moment now for Evan. Do you full send at this point? Legacy Star discards a lot of resources. This is your one ability to use for the entire game. Throw away 7 resources, but you get to look through that discard pile, find any 2 cards, and if you throw away that clone, you get it right back.
Exactly. It's a way, the Legacy Star being used as a way to recycle resources. It's a way to clutch those cards toward the end of the game. If you are able to save it up here, it is a key piece to the puzzle here for Evan, but we're going to have to see what this turn brings us here. All right, well, we have the energy now on that Regidrago V-Star. It's fully charged up here for some Apex Dragon action.
Safety first is going to be the measure.
Nice and consistent.
Nice and calm there with the Hisuian Gudra laying down that rolling iron. Very safe play here to preserve those hit points. And your opponent hasn't shown you anything just yet. They can draw a few more cards, of course, with the Kirlia, but they have to reestablish that Manaphy, or else the Kyurem could go crazy with the Trifrost again.
Exactly. You're almost forcing your opponent to have to re-protect themselves here, or at least get into some evolutions. We do see the evolution into the Gardevoir EX, and that Night Stretcher, a brand new card from Shrouded Fable. And look how beautifully it plays into this deck, allowing you to get a Pokemon or a basic energy from your discard pile, go straight into your hands. So that is perfect here for Haruku.
Yeah, of course, with this setup, when you see a Pokemon like that, Tatsugiri, and you look at the rest of the board, you have to play it safe and have the Manaphy. Plenty of energies being thrown away. This is great for a Gardevoir EX, but what is your attacker in a spot like this? Do you confuse ever, or do you get aggressive with the Gardevoir EX, start to deal some relevant damage? But that is your main Pokemon to get your engine rolling.
Yeah, exactly. We are seeing the strategy be pulled together here from Haruku. I love the just how composed he is as well, going through all these actions, knowing exactly what needs to be done here on these turns, getting those psychic energy into the discard pile to be able to re-accelerate them out. There's going to be some damage counters going around, so it has to be very careful where all of these energies are placed in our future turns. Of course, this refinement ability, huge. You discard, you draw 2 cards. We're going to be drawing a ton of cards here on Haruku's side. Lots of resources to work with here, but like you said, Kyle, what's the strategy? We're going to do an attract customers once again. Can we actually get a supporter this time? No.
Yeah, they just, it's not working. The business model is struggling, but you've seen plenty of cards here, and that's just fine.
Yes, I know. Yeah, that is what this deck does. It sees a lot of cards. It gives you access to all the strategies you'd like to carry out as soon as you can get this set up. And Haruku is getting there here. Gardevoir EX already out on the field. We're utilizing all of these abilities now. They've all been used. We have the retreat, of course.
Here we go.
Look at this.
We're going to hit the confusion one time for the people.
Oh, you'll love to see it, the mind bend. Not only does this Monkey Dory have that Adrenabrain ability, but it can also use mind bend. 60 damage, and then your opponent is confused. Of course, there was that Hisuian Gudra V-Star last turn. But yeah, you see that Regidrago V-Star. It's not damaged, but it is looking quite confused. It's like, where am I at? What's going on?
Help. Its world has been turned upside down.
Quite literally. Yes, help indeed. Let's see if Evan is able to get out of this situation after that Monkey Dory came into play, added some confusion to the field. Going to start us off with a nest ball. It's going to get us this Mew EX. Does have free retreat there, which is a nice pivot option to have on your bench here for the future for Evan.
Yeah, we've seen the Prime Catcher already in the discard pile, Legacy Star. If you choose to use that ability, you could find that Prime Catcher and move around. There's one switch as well. This is a 3 retreat cost Pokemon, so flipping
It's
through
bulky.
this could be scary.
That's a big boy right there.
That's right.
3 retreat, that is huge, and that is one obstacle that Haruku has identified to put in Evan's way here, and I'm excited to see how this turns out. I'm wondering how close this was to their previous matchup, if it was kind of the same strategies used and how Evan was able to get around them back then, but Ultra Ball is going to be used here now.
Yeah, for Evan, honestly, he may not have wanted to play the Prime Catcher, but had Professor's Research. But
True.
When you know your opponent goes for a confusion strategy, you typically hold those resources. You make sure that you can use the switch, use the Prime Catcher, then maybe Legacy Star, bring those back so you can continue to just attack, and never worry about flipping the coin. Because we've seen the flips at the stage. Sometimes they don't go your way.
Yeah, they do not always go your way. That is very true, Kyle. So we'd like to avoid those as much as possible. Here we go, Kyle. Legacy Star, 7 cards here. They're all going to go into the discard pile, but then Evan is able to take 2 cards out of the discard, put them into the hands. But this is a bit awkward here, huh, Kyle?
One of them was the switch. And of course, the Prime Catcher is a great card to think about as well. But if we, after this is found, I'm assuming it's going to be the Prime Catcher. There's no more ways to move this Pokemon from the active spot.
Oof, yeah, this is limited resources here for Evan. We've talked so much about having to keep heavy counts of all your resources to make sure you can carry out these strategies in the later game. But this is where you start seeing things get a little bit dicey here. If you're just 1 card short on one of these turns, you could fall behind significantly. But Prime Catcher is going to be used here. That's going to bring up one of these Pokemon on Haruku's side of the board, as well as allowing Evan to get out of this state of confusion on that Regidrago V-Star. Going to the bench, nullifying that effect, the Mew EX already is able to hard retreat for the turn, thanks to that free retreat cost for Evan as well. And we are still getting into some cards.
Yeah, the turn where Manaphy's up, you don't have the Cologne. The turn where you bring up the Curly, you do have the Cologne.
Ooh!
It's just not all lining up here, but certainly Evan will feel comfortable with an attacking Regidrago V-Star in the active spot after the retreat from the Mew. Just continue to build on the board state that you have here, find those energies, and accelerate them to your Pokemon. You've got the Teal Mask to draw an additional resource, the Fire Energy to the bench to Drago makes sense, and maybe this is going to be a game where you just have to start flipping.
That is true. You might have to start seeing some flips here. I mean, we like seeing some flips on the stream. It's always a bit hype, but
it's
maybe
not me. Yeah,
nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's not us. Definitely nerve-wracking to get through if you are the person flipping that coin, or I guess rolling that dice here. But Evan now back into the active position with that Regidrago V-Star. We're going to see an attack here from one of these Dragon Pokemon in the discard pile. It's going to be the Dragapult EX this time around.
Yeah, and missed opportunity, I suppose, if you wanted to get the prize cards, if Hawlucha were available, 6 to the Manaphy, and maybe taking it down with the 10 extra damage would have worked out well. And you can see already, Evan, he's considering using this attack from Dragapult many more times. All of these Pokemon now lined up to be knocked out from 6 damage counters.
Yeah, exactly. Phantom Dive. It is a huge move in this deck off that Dragapult EX. Not only are you hitting 200 damage in the active, which is a huge amount, but you get 6 damage counters to place onto your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you'd like. That's what we're seeing right now from Evan. So gonna get that knockout, gonna get these damage counters. First prize card has been taken here. Or sorry, second prize card for Evan. Only 4 more to go to close out this game. But like you said, Kyle, it could get pretty dicey here on both sides of the field, because we're seeing those damage counters be placed now on Haruku's side, as well as Evan might be worked into some of those dangerous situations with some confusion down the line.
Yeah, and of course, when you take a prize card, it leads to maybe some unfair activities on the other side. The unfair stamp waiting in the hand of Haruku. And that is dangerous, as we've seen so many resources already used by Evan. No way to move the active Pokemon. You put them on a 2-card hand. We've already seen plenty of grass energies too. How do you draw out of this?
Yeah, exactly. Unfair stamp in the trading card game. Anytime unfair is in the title of a card, you know it's probably pretty good. So Haruku choosing that ace spec for this Gardevoir list specifically. And we're churning out this turn here with the Ultra Ball, discarding a Psychic Energy, as well as one of those technical machines to draw another Pokemon out of the deck in that second Monkey Dory. 2 Monkey Dory lists. That's pretty consistent now with our Gardevoir players. This list has been heavily refined here. No pun intended, Kyle, by a lot of our players. And yeah, 2 Monkey is the way to go.
Yeah, the one piece that's missing now is those dark energy to go along with it.
I know.
Move these damage counters away. They're starting to stack up. It gets dangerous with the Dragapult attack on the other side. You can't let the Phantom dive.
Exactly. Phantom Dive, so dangerous. You're almost put on a clock here by the Regidrago V-Star deck. As soon as those damage counters keep mounting and you have no way to move them off with that Monkey Dory, thanks to not having the Dark Energy, 1 has been discarded, 1 in the prize cards. Haruku could work himself into some dangerous situations here. The Refinement, discarding another Psychic Energy into 2 more cards to the hand. The hand is pretty stacked here right now, but we're getting even more stacked up with this Arven here as well. Super Rod being drawn as the item card off of the Arven for the supporter for turn.
Yeah, Super Rod. It's a big help when you're thinking about the dark energy. We see the damage on the Kirlia. You need to move that as soon as you can. The draw engine of the deck needs to remain around as often as possible. And this is one way to do just that. If there's a way to search out that dark energy, that'd be great. But we'll also take this cool combo here with the Drifloon Artisan. Sign me up.
Yes, that Drifloon coming down onto the bench here thanks to that Artisan. That is our stadium in play from Haruku. Drifloon, the little balloon, it's out. It is ready here, Kyle.
We love alliteration. Time for a balloon blast.
Balloon blast, baby. Balloon blast with the Bravery Charm. We're getting ready here on the bench for Haruku. Look at that.
The only time you want to damage your Pokemon almost to a knockout. And might as well protect it a little more here with the Bravery Charm. Oh, there's plenty to go here.
This is what we're gonna see.
We love the stretcher for the dark.
Oh my goodness, we didn't even account for that there, Kyle. Look at this right now. Psychic Embrace, bringing all of these Psychic Energy onto this Drifloon in the active position. It has to take a ton of damage counters, 2 for each energy attached here. But you want that damage. It is 30 damage per damage counter on that Drifloon. It's got a little extra HP here, and that is a knockout on the Regidrago V-Star. It was fully loaded with energy. Now it's fully loaded into the discard pile for Haruku. That is the first 2 prize cards on the right side of our field, and Evan Pavelski is going to have to respond now, promoting that Mew EX with that free pivot into the active position. Where's this turn going to go from here, Kyle?
Well, 3 cards in hand, one of them being a Nest Ball, probably not your favorite. Artisan to look through the deck for basic Pokemon. You don't really need that, and you have 10 cards remaining in deck, so finding a solution here seems to be pretty difficult. Of course, you have the Regidrago V-Star to help out. You need 1 additional energy, but maybe a boss's orders. If that were there, you could take a pretty cool combo knockout and take 2 prize cards, maybe get a little closer.
Yeah, unfortunately for Evan, we've had a bit of awkward turns in a lot of these hands that we've seen. The boss's orders, at least one of them, was in the discard pile. We see this one now in the deck here, that Nest Ball being activated to check out the resources that are still available in the deck.
Yeah, it looks like this guy right here might be helping us out here. The Mew, if you can play with the low hand size, Restart might honestly be your best bet, finding some additional resources. You don't want to find research or anything at this point. You'll deck out, you'll lose. We'll move to game 2. Instead, maybe you can find the exact right cards to help out, and the awkwardness of holding Energy Switch when all your energies are already where you want them.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for sure. Halucha is going to come down onto the field, though, here for Evan. It's going to allow that ability to be activated to get 10 damage counters down onto the field of 2 different Pokemon with that flying entry.
Are you sure I can't put them both on Curlia? Just once?
Please.
Judge. Well, looks like the targets of choice are the Monkey Dory and the Manaphy. 2 cards to help out. One is Boss's Orders, but there's no energy to go along with this. Pheasantipity, help. There is energy to help.
Help! Can we flip some script? We got some energy here that can be accelerated down for Evan.
Oh, there's not much left. These are some pretty solid resources, of course. I believe the Ultra Ball is there in hand too, so you can search out the final Regidrago V-Star if it is there, but wants to preserve the resources and perhaps just draw right into them. If it's 4 cards in your deck, you know what you're drawing.
Exactly. Iono is going to be used here for both of our players. Shuffling up the hands, it's going to go at the bottom of that very slim deck on Evan's side.
Hey, look at that.
4 resources here. It's almost like we knew what was going to happen there, Kyle. All right, we have going through the discard pile here now, looking at all of the Pokemon that are in there that Evan is able to utilize so far in this matchup.
And you put your opponent on a lower hand size now. Maybe they're missing some resources. And there's a question. Do you want to play a little more defense? You're running out of time. You could preserve some hit points. Maybe the reduction of 80 from Rolling Iron would help. But
True.
Dragapult could also just continue to draw more prize cards and target down a Manaphy. It looks like safety is the name of the game. 3 prize cards remaining, however, and there's a lot of time here for Haruku to establish a pretty big play.
Exactly. There's time, and time is dangerous when you give it over to a Gardevoir deck. 3 prize cards left to take for Evan to take this game away. After that, Rolling Iron, rolling up some biscuits in this matchup here. 80 reduction on the left side of the field, as well as that knockout. Haruku, on the other hand, taking some damage there on that Monkey Dory.
Oh, there's Screamtail hanging out in there. That's not great news if you're Evan.
It's a fancy one, too.
Yep.
That is a fancy-looking Screamtail indeed.
You have to think there's probably a way to get there at this point. If you want to take down a 2-prize knockout, you see plenty of damage on the other side. The Monkey Dory could spread a little bit. You could use Screamtail to attack and start taking a 2-prize knockout.
Yeah, at this
point, how do you want to go about this?
Exactly. At this point, it's up to Haruku to just decide the strategy here. We're first going to draw into some cards. Refinement is going to be activated, getting one of those Curlia into the discard pile. 2 additional cards. That Screamtail potentially coming down onto the bench here now. Roaring Scream is the name of the game for that attack there on that Screamtail. It's very cute, but it is dangerous. Don't be fooled here by that scream.
This one doesn't need a microphone. It's going to get you.
Yeah, it'll get you indeed 20 damage for each damage counter to any of your opponent's Pokemon. We saw that Iono being used. 4 cards to the hand now for Haruku. What are you seeing, Kyle?
Yeah, there's a counter catcher in the hand, so maybe you could target down a different Pokemon if you so choose here. You could establish perhaps a checkmate situation if you attack with the Gardevoir, load up the damage onto the Screamtail, but then you start to get into situations with Dragapult you don't want to get into, so
yeah.
What is the right way?
What is the right way? We're going to have to see where this turn goes, what Haruku chooses to do. I'm trusting this right now. It's going to be the counter catcher because we're behind in prize cards on the right side, but counter catcher is a fantastic card to have here because it allows you to pivot one of your opponent's Pokemon into the active here. That Halucha coming up here, but that Screamtail damage can go wherever.
Yeah, I like this strategy. Your opponent is running very low on resources. Force an additional retreat once more from your opponent. Take the knockout on the Pheasantipity.
Ooh.
It's less cards that they can draw. If they have the grass energy, they can't draw with it because they need to retreat with it. And Haruku is down to just 2 prize cards remaining here.
Yeah, this is huge. This is the bread and butter of the Gardevoir deck. Has these strategies enacted here in the later game. There's single prize Pokemon that are so dangerous. You have to take them out, but then you're almost walking your opponent into these future plays.
Okay, we got to think about this. Superior Energy Retrieval, Boss's Orders in hand. Is there a way to draw into the final Canceling Cologne? Is there enough hit points on the other side to take a triple knockout.
Yeah,
I see plenty of them here. Let's bring up Manaphy and figure it out.
This could be huge here. Boss's orders for
Energy
the
switch.
Manaphy here.
Energy switch leads to the retreat that you need.
Oh, look at that. The Artisan being used to look at these cards. It's only 4 cards left in the entire deck here for Evan. But if this strategy could be pulled off and there's enough damage on that side to take all of these prize cards, this could be huge here, Kyle.
Yeah, trying to line it up with the restart from the Mew. You can thin down the hand. You have to play out all the cards, and maybe it's down to a 50-50. We'll see. 4 cards remaining. Looking for maybe... We'll see the boss's orders. How low can you get this hand down? It's the superior energy retrieval for just 1, I presume. You draw 3. If it's the last card in the deck, you lose.
This is huge. Let's see what this is gonna be here. Restart on that Mew EX.
He found it!
We have it. The canceling cologne here coming into play. It's gonna shut that Manaphy down here and allow Evan to take all of the prize cards needed to win this game in our Seniors Division Championships. Let's hear it from the crowd.
Wow.
You're
what
on
a way
camera.
to close things out in that opening game there for the Senior Division.
On the edge of my seat there, Kyle. I mean, that was a fantastic way to close things down. And you see how just that 1 copy of a card in that canceling cologne in a deck like this can make such a difference when you know how to use it. And Evan Pavelski did exactly that, playing everything smooth, steady. Even when it got dicey, we had the answers there. Let's take a look at what we just saw from this match.
Yeah, safety first. We saw immediately incorporating the Hisuian Gudra V-Star as a great attacker here with the Reggie Drago V-Star, and starting to spread a little bit of damage, but that is the power of Monkey Dory when you can move the damage around and start to build up these big knockouts. Drifloon was prepared to deal 300 damage, and it got scary here. Not a lot of resources remaining. How was Evan going to piece together the puzzle from this point? He was avoiding confusion at a lot of times, and for Haruku, it came down to 1 final play. Remove Pheasantipity. Hopefully your opponent can't draw through the rest of the deck and find all of the pieces that they need. It was boss's orders. It was drawn down to a 0-card hand and canceling Cologne to do everything that he needed to close out with a Trifrost and take game 1.
Yeah, that is huge here. We see the shouting from the crowd after that win. That was an incredible game 1 between our seniors finalists here in the championship. But we're going into a game 2. We'll see if those strategies can remain from both of these players. It was so close there. And we talk a lot, Kyle, about Legacy Star, how it could get you back these materials that you need in the later game. But that's not even what necessarily happened here for Evan. He was able to thin things down as much as possible, line up that percentage chance of just drawing into those cards that were needed at the end of that game, and everything lined up there, thankfully, for Evan to take down that game 1.
Yeah, Evan didn't even draw cool stuff off the Legacy Star. He grabbed a Professor's Research and a Prime Catcher. As basic as it gets, but it was what he needed at the time, just to continue drawing and continue finding a way to promote a relevant attacker, put pressure on his opponent, and did just that. Haruku with a fantastic play throughout there, trying to stay afloat, found the Dark Energy, found the Monkey Dory, continued to put together some pressure, but it was just a little bit too late.
Little bit too late. Yeah, we saw everything handled nice and smoothly there for Haruku, but it was just not enough there in the end. What do you think about that strategy, and do you think we'll see sort of a similar strategy going into this game 2 from Haruku?
I think if Haruku saw that opening that he had in turn 2, if that was to turn 1, that would have been pretty sweet. That was basically the difference in the game, having that 1 additional turn. The double buddy poffin that led to a full board was perfect, but it was just a little late.
Yeah, to think that we got to that hand off of an Iono as well. We'll see what happens in this second game between these players. We had the fist bump. We're kicking things off here in our game 2 of the senior finals of our World Championships.
That was a turn.
That was a turn. We missed a whole turn here, Kyle. What are we doing here? An energy being placed down onto this Ralts. There's another Ralts on the bench here, but that's going to be the entire turn. Not a single card in the discard pile here for Haruku. That Tatsugiri as well, and the Drifloon and a Curlia in the prize cards as well. The other side, a Reggie Drago V-Star, an energy switch, a switch card, nest ball, and a couple of supporters on the bottom for Evan Pavelski.
Yeah, we've seen that the switch could be important at times, especially if your opponent already has a good setup and uses that Monkey Dory to confuse. But other than that, both players could work with these resources. The Curly is a little unfortunate, but at this point in time, it's all about establishing a board presence. And Evan, he's throwing away some Dragon-type Pokemon, finding the energies, but are the basic Pokemon there to go along with this? You love to see the Teal Mask early on.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna love to see if it can happen here, but hey, we at least have one piece of the puzzle in this Dragapult EX hitting the discard pile. So what your strategy is, get these energy out, hopefully you can accelerate them with some Teal Mask, Ogerpon, draw into some additional cards, thin down your deck here, get these Dragon Pokemon in the discard, and Evan is trying to get there.
What a sneaky little nod there with the, we've seen the Hawlucha just pop out at the last second. Says, you know what, turn 2, I actually could knock out that Ralts if we work that in. Dragapult could take the 6 damage counter, just sneak in the 1 additional and knock that Pokemon out. So
That's
if
true.
your opponent doesn't have a great setup, this could get dangerous. Teal Mask helps out in that situation too.
Yeah, this is huge here. Drawing any more cards to the hand here could line up those pieces, especially if Haruku cannot have some answers in this next turn, not even having played a single card yet.
Why is
but
it always Iono?
It's gonna be the Iono every time, Kyle, every time. So Haruku is gonna get a new hand here. Evan on the other side as well. Brand new hands for both players. We're steadying out the field.
Whoa, that's a good hand. A lot of searching in an
Beautiful.
earthen vessel along with a professor's research for next turn. I don't think it gets much better than that when you're trying to establish this board and start to flood the board with energies as well.
Yeah, this is dangerous here. If you're looking at this board state on Haruku's side of the field, first nest ball here played, Regidrago V out. Second nest ball is going to be here as well to get another basic Pokemon down. And that is pretty huge here for Evan. All right, still searching through the deck. I mean, you see these cards are flying here, looking at all the resources. We're going to have a second Teal Mask Ogerpon come on to the bench.
That is
already have the energy to match as
that's
well.
The worst thing to see from Haruku's side is, oh, he just throws away Professor's research in his 2-card hand. Yeah, I'm probably in a little bit of trouble here.
A little bit of a pickle potentially here from Haruku looking at this match now, and we still have some dancing to do. Teal Mask Ogerpon going to draw into an additional nest ball here off of that Teal Dance ability.
Yeah, there's honestly not much else you need. You might preserve the resource and find a Pheasantipity at some point if you think your opponent will get a solid start off, but this is all on Haruku to show that he's got something going on.
My
So
goodness.
Heavy Ball looking for help.
Yeah, Hisuian Heavy Ball at least can get us a resource here, allowing Haruku to get a basic Pokemon out of the prize cards, exchange it with that Hisuian Heavy Ball, and that's shuffled back up, and it's going to be redisplayed on our clear prize card screen. Drifloon was the selection there. Buddy Buddy Poffin going down now. Let's get some more benched Pokemon here for Haruku.
Yeah, and that was a big nod to how the rest of this game could potentially go. If you search the Drifloon and you're comfortable with the fact that your hand might turn into something, if you need to find Tatsugiri, then you already know the hand is bad and we're going to be in some trouble. So it feels comfortable in this spot. What else is there? Is there a Curlia to draw some additional resources? Arvin, all right, we don't need to attract customers. We already got them.
Yeah, we got him now. The business has definitely picked up here, Kyle, for sure. Arvin is huge here, getting out that technical machine evolution for Haruku. It was pivotal in our game one, and we're seeing it come down again. Thanks to that beautiful Arvin that selects these cards out of your deck and helps out so much. We're seeing the same thing as well with that Buddy Buddy Poffin once again. All of these Ralts are being established here. The Ultra Ball being played now as well. And to think this was all off of the Iono once again from Evan's side.
Every single time.
Every
So
time.
just like this, you don't want to give your opponent that new hand. Honestly, Haruku could have already had it. Could have already been
true.
Arvin, Curlia's, everything ready to go. But he can't show that on the opening turn. Instead, now here we are. Yes, throw away these vital resources that you need, the Drifloon and the Gardevoir. You can find them at a later point. Right now, you have to continue to draw and build this board state.
Yeah, you can get them set up later on with some retrieval there. First refinement here, drawing into 2 additional cards after the discard of that Ultra Ball. We are going to see that TM Evolution come down. energy is already attached to be able to utilize it here. And the Monkey Dory joining the field.
Yep, typically you'd see the double Curlia in a spot like this. We already saw one in the prize cards, but this will be the Gardevoir this time around. Understands that we might need to put a little pressure on this time because Evan is in a pretty great spot. Showed off all the energies to go along with it, has basically flexed that there is a God hand on the other side.
Yes,
and this could get dangerous.
Oh, it could get so dangerous, Kyle. We could have an incredible match coming up here depending on what happens in these next couple of turns. We see those two evolutions come down here for Haruku. And now we're over to the other side on Evan's side of the playing field. Regidrago V with 2 energies attached in the active spot at this moment in time. We have another grass energy in the hand as well as some ball search here. It's going to be the Ultra Ball, discarding that Regidrago V and a Nest Ball.
Yeah, and if you have a Pokemon that you specifically want in the discard pile this time, now would be the chance. You're using the professor's research, but if it's already there or you feel comfortable throwing it away with Legacy Star later on, just establish this Pokemon. Let's attack this turn.
Yeah, let's get some safety moves here. Regidrago V-Star is out on the field now, which means that Apex Dragon can be used down the line here for Evan. So, like you said, Kyle, getting that consistency out there, making sure to stabilize the board here before we draw into some more cards with this hand.
Another question, I suppose, is this grass energy. You could draw an additional resource, but if you throw it away, that's not great. So let's just attach it for the turn, maybe find another grass energy later on to draw with the Teal Mask and add to this hand we already have.
And look at that, Kyle. It's like you predicted it here. Grass energy to the hand. Professor's research netting us 7 more cards here. We're safe. We got the Regidrago V-Star. It has the fire energy attached, 2 additional grass energy. We're dancing on the bench here with this Teal Mask Ogerpon EX to draw into additional cards here as well. And we're looking much safer with this board state. Regidrago V as well on the bench here for Evan for future turns.
Yeah, the Ultra Ball to continue to search through. Maybe a second Regidrago V-Star could be incorporated. You could start to use the Hawlucha if you can target down that Ralts on the other side that was not evolved. That's occasionally something we see players go for.
Yeah, we're going to see what the strategy is here. The Ultra Ball being used. 2 more discards here for Evan to search out any Pokemon from the deck. We'll have to see which one it was that went to the hand. The energy switch as well. Starting to get that Regidrago V on the bench loaded up. The Pheasantipity is here as well as that Hawlucha. We're going to get those damage pings down. That flying entry, it's flying in. It's pecking these little Pokemon on the bench here for Haruku. And you know what that means, Kyle. This is huge here. Dragapult EX coming out of the woodwork. It's being played in the Regidrago V-Star deck, but it has so much utility as you see those 2 Pokemon going down here on Haruku's side of the field, and that is going to limit us so much in this game here for Haruku. That is so much of the strategy that has now been debilitated on the field.
This is what happens when you don't search out that other Curlia there. You could have protected this Pokemon, maybe stuck around for a little bit longer, drawn additional resources. Instead, now 3-card hand, 1 Curlia to helpfully draw out of this situation. Any supporter, something to help out here would be great. Oh no, it's just dark energies and Ultra Ball.
This is not helping right now. I mean, we do have the dark energy that can be placed on the Monkey Dory, but those Pokemon were wiped out here. There's only 1 damage counter on the field on that Manaphy here. We're going to see those 2 now, so that Elise is going to be able to shift these damage counters off of Haruku's field onto Evan's side with that Adrenabrain ability on the Monkey Dory.
Wise to protect the Manaphy in that spot. Just another Dragapult attack.
And look at that.
Pokemon out.
What is happening?
Go?
Flipped upside down the Mind Bend, coming back in as a part of the strategy here for Haruku to get past the obstacles in this game, throw some Evan's way. We see the confusion there on the Regidrago V-Star now, and Evan has a couple of cards in hand here, but now they're in the discard pile.
And, you'll see plenty of potential pop-off opportunities. If you find the pink card, and there it is, Prime Catcher canceling Cologne. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Hold up.
Those 2 in combination are so dangerous. here. Evan looking at this hand that was drawn off the professor's research. Gonna play it out here. Stay calm, stay cool, stay collected, and get through this turn. But Prime Catcher canceling Cologne is in the hands here. We're gonna see that Earthen Vessel discarding a card as well to get 2 more energy out. We have even more play for this turn from Evan.
Yeah, not only finding a way to move this Pokemon, but potentially to cash in on a debilitating attack. Removing the Kirlia just in general would be devastating to limit the hand size that Haruku will see. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is huge here. Prime Catcher bringing up that Kirlia here. Haruku was already behind, and now that vulnerable Kirlia is up in the active position here. That Regidrago V-Star no longer confused. This is a different one, of course, from that Prime Catcher also being brought up into the active position. Dragapult EX brought to the top of the discard pile here. That's Phantom Dive, taking out the Kirlia. Another prize card here for Evan, leaving Haruku with a bunch of damage on the field here now, and no refinement to be seen.
It's just more energy. This does not work. You have to continue to just confuse and hope, but you know that you're not going to get away from it. There's retreating that's possible. There's the Legacy Star that can search out the Prime Catcher again. We could see all these resources. He also doesn't know that the switch was the prize card taken here.
That is true. Oh, that is brutal on top of this. At least we're going to turn through this Adrena Brain here, get some more damage onto Evan's side, try to work something out from that ability being used, and then we just see the Mind Bend once again.
Evan doesn't even bother flipping the Pokemon around.
I'm getting out of it. I'm getting out of it here.
You're gonna see me again.
Yeah, it's flipping it now. Was confused for that Regidrago V-Star. It's upside down. It doesn't know what's going on here, but Evan knows what's going on. The Earthen Vessel, discarding that Giratina V-Star, searching out more energy. It's just going to be that grass here into the hands for Evan. Everything is going his way right now in this match. We're going to see an additional card draw off of this Teal Dance on the Ogerpon. Ooh. And a nice little Legacy Star as well.
Giddy up. Here we go. Legacy Star.
Oof. Yeah, that is 7 cards hitting the discard pile. Evan is allowed to take 2 cards out of the discard now, go into the hand here, recycle some resources, anything he wants that has already been discarded. This is such a strong Legacy Star, V-Star ability, and that's why you can only use a V-Star once per game. They're pretty good sometimes.
I think this is the perfect strategy here. The Prime Catcher lines up so well. You need to move out of the active spot, but at this point, what else do you really need? Just guarantee that both of your Regidrago V-Star are ready to attack. I think if you have both of those ready to go, your opponent can't possibly knock out both in the same turn. It doesn't line up in a two-turn clock, so energy switch seems fine there.
Yeah, Evan probably feeling pretty comfortable here. Everything going his way. Prime Catcher being recycled now for this turn. We're going to see straight into the retreat off of that Teal Mask Ogerpon straight away.
V-Star in there?
It is.
That's some pretty good math then.
It sure is, Kyle. Good math indeed. We're seeing these energy fly around the board here right now.
It's pretty scary from here if you're Haruku. Down to just 1 prize card remaining for your opponents. You're alone Gardevoir knocked out. No pieces of the entire line left.
Yeah.
Monkey Dory in a dream.
Monkey Dory and a Dream. Giratina V-Star, a pivotal card here in the Regidrago deck. Lost Impact. We're going to see 2 energy go to the Lost Zone here, but that's going to take the knockout on that Gardevoir EX, and that is everything that has been wiped off the board here in just a few swift turns by Evan Pavelski in this matchup. Monkey Dory, all it can do is continue out here, and that's the game. Evan Pavelski is your senior champion here in 2024 at our World Championships with Regidrago V-Star. It's the year of the Drago, Kyle.
2024, let it be known, Evan Pavelski gets the job done. 2-0 victory, lined up beautifully, used just about every attack he needed there to get the job done, and I guess those nerves, he didn't have them for a reason.
Yeah, didn't have for a reason. Was feeling comfortable going into this matchup despite losing it before in the tournament, but was able to take things down. Just had everything needed. I mean, played it effortlessly.